my normal viewers, I understand this is my normal type of content and you probably don't want to see it. I will get back to my normal content shortly. Unfortunately, I have some stuff going on in the back end I need to handle, and I'm approaching my date. And so I've been taking a little bit of personal time. In that personal time, I've been playing Call of Duty. And on the internet, there's a lot of opinions talking very negatively about skill-based matchmaking, and you gotta understand, these opinions are coming from professionals. What they do for a job is get a nuke in a match or a juggernaut in a match, and then they put that video out on Twitch or YouTube, and that's literally how they make their income.
By the way, let's call in this nuke. MGB, baby, let's go.
So you have to understand, that's why the opinion on skill-based matchmaking is so incredibly negative, because it's making them very hard it's making it very hard for them to do their job. And I totally get that. I am 100% on board. Like, I understand, I feel your pain. But what you're not understanding is you're the minority. You truly are. So let me tell you about the experience of skill-based matchmaking and essentially the goods and bads of Call of Duty on a normal person's perspective of it, because I promise you it is way different. So what's going on with skill-based matchmaking? So this is the amount of people playing it. Obviously, as you go down the line, that is less and less people. And this is the amount of skill they have. Now, on the other graphs where people will do like a graph of this and talk about skill-based matchmaking being bad, they're looking at it through their eyes as professionals. But I promise you, like, when I bought a Call of Duty game, I would buy it because my friends were on there, and I would chat with them for a while, maybe play it for a week, possibly a month if it was a really good one, and I was done with it. You don't have fun. You get wiped across the map so many times, and it's just not fun anymore. Yeah, it's cool being someone's target to shoot at, but that gets old really, really fast if you never ever win. So skill-based matchmaking, as the person joins Call of Duty, this is the highest amount of people. They have 0 skill. They will master a skill like pieing out a corner or doing a tactical maneuver or the bunny hop or the dolphin dive, and they will use that single skill to get up here. And this is where almost everybody is, right there. While the professionals, they will master all the skills, and they will shoot up. It's a very small amount of people. With skill-based matchmaking, it makes about every game even. I am a horrible Call of Duty player, and I typically go KD when I'm playing by myself, not in a party, because the party's the exception. We'll talk about that. I go about even, usually like 1.0. If I'm having a really good game, I'll get like 3.0, something like that. Rarely ever do I go way negative or way positive. Now, when I jump in a party with a bunch of you professionals, because I invited you over and I play with you guys, then yeah, then I'll go like 0.3 or something like that, because I'm playing way beyond my skill level. Typically, what you would do is play as hardcore to level the field on this, because then you get hit with a 308, you're done. It's the way it is. You can't keep moving after you get like riddled in the chest 5 times or you get hit with a 308, so one shot is typically all you need. So as long as you're good at tactical maneuvering, you can hold your own on hardcore. Well, hardcore hasn't released yet, so I've been forced to play on core. And like I said before, I just wouldn't play the game because it wasn't fun. I hated being someone's target just to get shot to crap. Why should I be there to make them feel better about themselves? And that's basically what I was. So anyway, you're stuck on core, and there's a percentage where, depending on what your KD is, they will put you in that particular group. So you're playing against people on an equal skill level as you. So you're not having one guy just completely own the map, and every single time you see him, you're guaranteed to die. There's no other option. Even if you get the perfect tactical maneuver, you're pieing the room out right, and he's facing the other direction, and you're like, thwap, thwap, and you shoot him in the back, and he's like, oh, I'm taking damage, jumps up, bunny hops around, starts going side to side, and cuts you down. That's not fun. I had the drop on him. I put rounds in his back. Why is he not dead? And their skill is just so high, it doesn't matter. As soon as they take damage, they'll jump up, do the dolphin dive, spin in circles a bunch, and you can't track them with your sight because you're not good enough to have your controller completely maxed out on turn speed. As you get better, yeah, you turn up the turn speed, you're able to track the targets, and then when they do jump up, you can just track them through the air and down on the ground, and then they die. And that's the problem with the old Call of Duties, is you would run into these people, and they would be on the leaderboard going like 54, getting a nuke, and completely wiping you out with like 2 deaths. And there'd always be that guy in the game, and whoever team that guy was on, that team would win. Anywho, so skill-based matchmaking for the majority of people out there is a really good thing. Yes, I get, your job is to put out videos getting a nuke, getting a juggernaut, getting these crazy kill streaks most people don't get to see. And that's insanely hard when you're playing against people at your own skill level. Yeah, it's all fun beating the crap out of grade schoolers, but it's way more challenging, way more engaging, and way more difficult playing at people on your own skill level. Because being that grade schooler, getting punched in the face 150 times by bigger kids, makes you not want to play anymore. And the majority of the audience, the majority of the people that play this game are not in this peak of maximum skill level. They just aren't. They'll have mastered a single skill that gives them an advantage. They can do that skill really well and they can hold their own. But going against a peak player, no, they get wiped every single time. There's no chance at all they have against a peak player except for on hardcore, because that levels the playing field a lot, but on this particular case, hardcore just isn't available yet. And it's going to be crazy to see what they put out in hardcore. Now, these players can wipe the field. What they need to do is jump in a party with a bunch of bad players, because that forces them to skill-based matchmake. So then there'll be one good player on that team, and one good player on that team, and then the rest of the party's garbage. They aren't going to win the game by doing that, but they will get their high kill streaks. So that is, what would you call it, a hack to still get in your kill streaks, is just party up with a bunch of noobs. Get in a party so they have to be on your team, and then that'll put the other team with a bunch of noobs, and then you can get your kill streak. So if that's how you want to make videos, that's how you're going to do it. Now the downsides. Well, one of the downsides. Terms of service. Talking crap online to people you don't know in itself is fun. And after you wipe them on the map, it's really fun. The new terms of service, if you talk crap, you can report people, and they can get banned from Call of Duty. So that is a huge downside that is probably going to affect the game's progress. Like, I get it, nothing's worse than going like 0-54 and somebody's just talking about how bad of a player you are, and then you ultimately quit the game. So I understand why the game allowed you to report people, but it's not cool. I mean, we should all be adults here and limit what we say in the first place, but I don't know. That's your call on if you like the terms of service or not. The next thing I do like about the game is the gun modifications. In the old Call of Duties, you could modify your gun to where it was a laser beam. There was no recoil. You could just rattle out shots. Completely not realistic. I get it. It's a game. It's not supposed to be realistic. It's supposed to be fun. But the modifications, they barely affect your gun. Usually if you throw a bunch of attachments on there, you're actually hurting yourself. The gun in its stock form with like some glass or something like that, like real people would do, is actually pretty realistic, and it helps you out. You start throwing a bunch of attachments on there, it's just slow to swing. I think that's really cool, because like, you shouldn't be able to throw a muzzle brake on a 308 that makes it a laser beam. It's a 308. You can't change the fact that you're shooting a 7.62 by 51 NATO. That doesn't go away. That doesn't magically disappear by putting on a muzzle brake. You're going to have recoil. Yeah, a muzzle brake's going to help. Maybe a forward grip will help a lot, but there's just a couple of things you can do to a gun that affects the recoil. Like, yeah, a muzzle brake's a big one, so that's probably a bad example. But throwing on a red dot isn't going to take away recoil. That's another thing I like, too, about the gun modifications is, like, yeah, it gets rid of the laser beam thing, but it seems more realistic. A part where they did fail, though, is like throwing a red dot on over iron sights. You wouldn't slow down in aiming, with one exception. With a shotgun, a bead sight is fastest. That's number one. Number two is a red dot. Number three is some sort of magnification or an LVPO. And then as you go higher in the magnification, your ability to aim slows down because you have to get in the eye box. And the more magnification you have, the smaller the eye box is, and the more time it takes you to get into that particular eye box. Plus you're zoomed in, you have to search out your target. So yeah, throwing out a red dot shouldn't slow down your aiming speed, but yes, every other glass should. Now, throwing on a red dot over bead sights on a shotgun, yeah, that's going to slow down your aiming speed, because a bead sight's infinitely faster than anything else on the market. It just is. You have a wide field of view, no magnification, it doesn't obstruct anything. That's why duck hunters, they don't use red dots, they use bead sights because they have to track moving targets, and a bead sight is the easiest to do that on. Oh, the next thing that's really going to upset a lot of people, including myself, is the only flag you're allowed to represent your particular character is an LBGT flag. Where's my American flag? I like to represent that I'm from America. I'm proud of my country. How come I can't go with an American flag and the only choice I got is like 50 different combinations of LBGT flags? Why is that the only flag on there? If there's not going to be an American flag on there, there shouldn't be any flags on there at all. Why do they get to represent what they believe in, but I can't represent what I believe in? That's irritating to me even more than the terms of service. That's a big one. That upsets me a lot. We'll just leave it at that. So overall, my experience with the game, this has been the best Call of Duty game I've ever played. I love how the skill-based matchmaking works. I love how the movements work. I love the gunsmithing aspect of it. How, like, the attachments, they really don't help you that much, because in real life, attachments really don't help you that much. They seriously don't. Yeah, flashlight's great in the dark. Yeah, muzzle brake can take away some recoil. But realistically speaking, you're still stuck with the base gun you have, regardless what you do. You can polish a turd as much as you want, but it's still a turd. It's either really good to begin with, or it's just not that good. Again, there are some small exceptions, but generally speaking, what you start with is what you got, regardless what you decide to throw on there. And typically when you throw shit on there, it makes the gun worse because it's more weight to carry around. You get exhausted. It's harder to swing into action. Typically, attachments do hurt, with a couple exceptions. So, overall, I love the game. Again, this is me right here, if you'd like to join me. I think this game will be widely successful, and this is what we're going to start to see from now on. I understand it does hurt the content creators and the people that do this professionally, because where do they get the content if they can't just beat up on a bunch of little kids that don't really know what the hell they're doing? So I get their point of view, but I think it's misplaced. They're looking at themselves only. They're not thinking of the broader picture and how many more people are going to adapt to the game and get hooked on the game with skill-based matchmaking over just, I get to be the king of the match and just totally smash everybody else and get nukes and juggernauts while they just run around and try not to get shot by me. Their best defense is to run around really fast and try to hide, or camp somewhere and hide this way I don't find them. That's a terrible experience when playing the game. Anyway, thank you for watching. Like I said, I will bring my content that I normally put out back soon. I just got some more things to work on the back end. Once I get that done, I will announce it to you exactly what's going on. And then we will see the content we all know, enjoy, and love. Anyway, thank you for watching the Flight Sports channel. Got my Patreon right there. I also have affiliate links in the description down below. Just by clicking on those particular links, even if you don't purchase what that particular link is for, just clicking on it and doing the Amazon shopping you were already going to do anyway. I have a kickback for it because you came there off my channel. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.